D12, Lars, Detroit native, MC. He's bizarre, and I want to welcome him to the Library of Tim Einenkel. Thank you so much for being here.
All right, thanks for having me, man.
You're from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm from New York, so unfortunately I don't know much about Detroit because I've never been there. But for you, what was that? What was the hip hop scene like growing up? But what was that first hip hop memory you had, whether it was MCing, DJing, graph, or breaking?
Probably St. Andrews. Probably like my whole childhood was. That's what basically where all the hip hop went down at Detroit. That's when they had the movie 8 Mile, the famous battle at. We all used to meet there on Friday nights, and they had break dancing and ciphers everywhere.
Obviously, like when New Yorkers are very somewhat hip hop snobs when it comes to
Right.
we always go East Coast invented it, whatever. But if someone asked you what is the impact that Detroit, all of Detroit hip hop culture, not just rap but hip hop culture, what has Detroit's impact been on hip hop culture? What do you say to them?
I think we're here to stay. I think we have the soul of Motown back in this 60s and 70s where they had the Motown singers. And Barry Gordy came from there. So, I think we got like a real underground hip hop scene that's real soulful that people don't know about, like, Slum Village, Jay Dilla, just to name a couple groups, but we got a real big hip hop scene in Detroit.
I've lived in New York all my life. I think we're close to the same age. And I sometimes want to leave, but I don't.
Right.
New York has its ups and downs. Detroit has had its ups and downs.
Right.
What keeps people hopeful in Detroit, but also what keeps people from leaving Detroit?
I think just all they know, not knowing anything better. And I think the hopeful thing is people are getting signed now in Detroit. I think we definitely had, a share in that, you know what I'm saying, with Eminem singing the famous Detroit What to D12 coming out, and then Obi Trice, and then after that, now you got the T Grizzlies, the Dage Loafs, and Trick Tricks.
Just actually, as you say that, you look at the kind of the Griselda movement, right, in Buffalo. Right. Do you see similarities between what you guys kind of did and accomplished in Detroit than what's happening actually in Buffalo, New York right now?
I can't say that because they only just got Conway and West Side Guns and of course Benny.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess we have to see more. You know what I'm saying? But I think Griselda is their own special little thing, their own movement going on. So. I don't know if the other rappers in Buffalo rap like them, or
right?
Look up to them or whatever. But I do know they're dope. They got their own style.
I read that your name Bizarre comes from the famous elementary school teacher, and it's interesting for me to see like obviously how the education system goes in terms of supporting arts.
Right.
For you, what was that support? Was there a support system in terms of when you were writing your rhymes or messing around in class? What was that support system? Was it a teacher? Was it a mentor?
First, it started off. Well, it's my teacher and my mom. My teacher used to. I started off rapping in the music class, so he would give me a rap to make for every holiday, to do it like the school talent show. So that kind of boost my confidence up. And then my mother, she gave me my first rap name, which is Sweet Pete. And basically, you know what I'm saying, that's how I started. Got occurred.
Why'd you switch it?
Oh man, I got too old for Sweet Pete. Last time I was probably like 13.
It's like the Cedric Entertainer joke. I'm not gonna call a grown man delicious. Something like that. You joined D12 in '95. But you were friends with all those guys prior to it. Prior to us, the world, knowing who you were, it would be great to hear like what were those hangouts like? Just if you guys just either ciphers or spitting rhymes. Like when you think about who was like, was it friendly challenges? Was it like, did you have a preference on who was the best or?
No, we had friendly challenges. You know, they had like the elite five at the hip hop shop that everybody liked it, and was like some of the dopest guys in there, like Swift, Eminem, Marshall, Fat Cat, Elzai, to name a few. You know what I'm saying? But there were elite groups in there.
You when D12 debuted their solo album, Devil's Night, it reached the #1 in Billboard's 200 chart. Your debut album also reached 26, so you've had success.
Okay.
And you continue to have success, but there's always that, like, what's the gift and the curse of success? For you, what has the gift been, but also what has been this curse, if there is one?
The gift has been being able to feed my family for the last 20 years off of rap and not, working 9 to 5. I think that's been my, biggest gift. And I think the biggest downfall probably would be sometimes, being overshadowed by Marshall. Just having such a huge reputation that everybody thinks that you know everything about him, and like they literally just do interviews to ask you about him.
Right.
So I think that's probably an annoying thing to be signed under a famous rapper.
Right. I'm going to ask about him, but not because this is by. I actually am interested in him because you worked with him on this track Rockstar. He was your producer, right?
Right.
And not many people kind of know that. Well, even anyone, you work. What makes a great producer, but also what is different him as a producer versus him as an MC?
To me, they basically the same. He's a perfectionist, very compulsive. So whether he's doing the beat for you, or he's doing some vocals for you, or he's going to coach you until you get it right. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with his beats. He's going to play with him and dibble and dabble until he gets it right. So he's basically a perfectionist. So I don't think it's no difference because I know either one of the two is going to be a lot of work. So pack your lunch bag.
You listen to a lot of your work, and you're able to spit on, I think, an array of beats, instrumentals.
Right.
But is there like one, do you have a favorite kind of beat to spit to? But also, is there like a sound or beat that you notice that would never work for anything you do?
I like grimy beats. You know what I'm saying? I try anything. If I hear a concept in my head, I might hear a concept in my head. It might be on some silly shit or funny shit or you know what I'm saying, off the wall shit. I really don't put myself in the box when it comes to beats.
You have a new track out that's getting a lot of buzz on the internet. Leatherface featuring Lazarus and Hobson. How did this track come together, and kind of when you first heard that beat, what came to your mind?
I first heard the beat. Lazarus played it for me in the studio in California. I thought dark, something dope. It took him a long time to put a verse on there. He actually wanted me to come up with a concept. So I couldn't really come up with a concept. So I asked my boy King Gordy to write a hook for it. And then he wrote the hook Leatherface. And then so he sung it and did all that first. We had the hook before anybody dropped their verses. Then we sent it to Hobson. He joked on it along with myself, King Gordy, and the Doctor Lazarus.
You have a new album about to drop. Can you kind of talk about it? How is it different from kind of your other projects?
Oh man, this is different, man. My name is Rufus. It's my real name. So it kind of get more personal into this one. You know what I'm saying? There's a little singing on there. You know what I'm saying? Little soulful shit going on. So it might not be the typical bizarre album that you expect because I'm really talking about some real life experience. So you can get to know me, and also my album comes with a free DVD too about my life, like a 30-minute documentary.
Why so personal, right? Why now? Why so personal?
It's time. It's time. So I've been doing this for a long time, but everybody, you know, I'm tired of people meeting me like, man, you're not the crazy guy that I see on TV. You're actually a nice guy, or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? I think I've been through enough situations to where, you know, it's time for me to live my truth. You know what I'm saying? It's time for me to, you know, talk about shit. That's why I got that, you know, that's why I got that song Lose Weight. That's some real shit. You know what I'm saying?
Lastly, is there, looking at the new album and kind of the lyrics you've written for this album, is there maybe a verse or a few lines on it that kind of sum up where you are as an artist in your career right now?
Oh, man. The album is dope, man. I want y'all to go check it out. Drop it November 14th, roughly. If I had to sum it up, words my whole album, I was like, I would say, no one wants to stand next to a dead man.
Okay. There's no reason to expand on that anymore. That's fucking crazy. But sorry, I mean, thank you. I know you've had a big day, and thank you so much for being on the Library Tim Einenkel. I really greatly appreciate all you've done for the culture. So
thanks, man. Thanks for having me.